Welcome to Boss Up. Get ready to elevate your game with your dynamic hosts. First up, we have the visionary powerhouse, Dan D. Johnson, who's a failure transformation expert and a financial literacy and business coach with a wealth of knowledge to help you scale and grow. And joining him is the inspiring and charismatic Shada Amour, your corporate expert and life coach, ready to share insights on leveling up your life and relationships. Together, they'll guide you on a journey to unleash your potential and boss up. Now, welcome Shada Amour and Dan D. Johnson.
Okay, what's going on? We coming out. What's up? What is going on, Dan?
I'm gonna tell you what's going on. It sounds like you in an underground tunnel. I'm just saying, it's like in a spaceship. There's vibrations, there's echoes. How art thou, Miss Shada? I'm more in a building, y'all.
What's up? What's up? I am so excited to be with you today. I had an amazing day today.
Really? Tell me about your day. Tell me about your day.
I closed on my first property today of the year. I had a closing, got the check in hand. Great day.
Let me see the check.
No. Okay.
I
cannot. No.
I'm trying to see if it's real. Let me hold down a couple.
That's not what we're doing. Well, if you guys don't know, this is Boss Up. This is Crazy Dan Johnson, who owns, like, how many businesses do you own? Like, how many businesses, Dan?
I got two in the possible.
Two in a possible. Okay, two in a possible. What are the two? I don't know about the possible. What's the two?
No, I'm a real estate investor. I am a general contractor. We're in the snow removal business. And so that's all of that kind of stuff. But of course, I'm a licensed insurance producer. I am a licensed realtor. I write books. I do a bunch of stuff. I don't like talking about myself. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to give you my little excerpt of a bio, and you learn that, and then you introduce me, and I introduce you. I'm just listen, I tell you all the time, I come from a poor family.
Oh, boy.
I didn't have much, but the Lord has been good to me. Yeah, he's been good.
I'm excited. As we talked about, one, I'm in education. That's my full. And on the side, I do real estate and I do coaching. And I love hanging out with people who are bossing up. And today, baby, I met this young woman at an event, at a real estate event in Florida. And she came in she was like, oh, I just threw my own side. No, baby. She was all the way together, ready at the real estate event. And last week, I got to attend a session she held on credit funding, and it was on fire. I thought they were preaching. I felt like I was in church. So I am so excited for her to.
Wow. Did she do an altar call?
No, she didn't. No.
I just wanted to
see people in tears, though.
Did you get your life over if you repented? But listen, Jesus married to the backslider. But listen, this whole boss up concept is really amazing, because what we're doing is we're taking small business owners and entrepreneurs. That's either we're helping them get started, we're helping them build, we're helping them scale, and we're getting some amazing results from some of these boss up sessions. And so I'm excited tonight. It's something that Amour does on a consistent basis. At 6:30, I was on a call coaching an entrepreneur. We get paid for this, y'all. Let me just be clear. We get paid for this. And I'm going to be honest, I get paid relatively well for I'm just telling y'all the whole truth, nothing but the truth. So help me God. And so we get paid for helping people to grow their business, scale their business, solve problems in their business. But Boss Up is our time to give back. And so this is our opportunity where we'd say, hey, come on live. We're going to coach you live. Ayana fixing folk lives. We fixing folks business. Y'all understand what I'm saying? So I'm excited tonight because I'm telling you, she's an energetic fireball.
Let's just bring her.
Who? Look at and she in my living room. What you doing in my living room, girl? Get out of my living room. We wasn't supposed. See, now we're gonna have feedback. And she in my living room. My living room.
Stop it. Okay, well, this is Sunset Monae. She lives in Florida, so all the other people, I think most of the people were in Chicago, but we bringing in some sun tonight, baby, all the way from Orlando, Florida. What's up? Oh, wait. They can't hear you yelling. Can we hear you? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Can y'all hear me now?
Yes, we got you, girl. We got you.
That's okay. Technical difficulties. That's all right. We're going to move forward. But yes, thank you guys so much for having me. I just listened to you guys too. You guys are firecrackers as well. So I feel like I belong as the third party in this room. Okay.
Come on, girl.
Thank you, y'all. My name is Sunset Monae, also known as Miss Hustle in High Heels, because everywhere I go, you will always see me in high heels. Okay. I
got one question.
Yeah.
Are they red bottoms?
No red bottoms. Okay. No. I don't like red bottoms. And I'm not a red bottom here. I'm just a heels girl. It don't matter, heel girl, whatever type of
2-inch heel.
That's cute, see, but yeah, that's cute. Yeah. I like
no, that means she 4-inch. See, she got to fly high.
She has some cute heels. And I know Rhonda is in the chat. Hey, Rhonda, what's up, girl?
Rhonda in the building, y'all. What's up, Rhonda Denise?
Rhonda Denise, excited to see you, girl. Hey, she gonna tell her story soon too. She just started a business, so we excited to have the business people in the house. Yes. Sunset, tell us a little bit about you. You have the most amazing story. So can you tell us just a little bit about yourself?
Yes, your journey? Absolutely. I am Haitian, right? My full background is Haitian, and I have been born in Haiti, but I grew up in Florida, right? And I went to Florida State University, graduated. I did a little time in corporate America. Of course, I'm first generation, right? My parents don't have nothing more than a 5th grade education. So we come from absolutely nothing. When I say humble beginnings, I mean nothing, right? No education, language barrier, pillow to post, right? Robbing Peter to pay Paul. All of that I am familiar with because, again, in our country, the resources are not there. The information is not there. So that's where I come from. That's my background. And again, I'm first generation. I started out my journey, right? Always wanting to be the best, show up as the best, and how can I get ahead? Because I'm from a third world country, of course, you guys know in our language it's called l'école, l'église, l'accueil, the 3 L's, home, school, or church. And so being raised in that kind of environment where it's like you have to be the best, you have to be that 1%, it kind of molds you in a way where you are used to just overachieving things. So not only did I graduate top of my class, right? I got my real estate license. I'm a licensed life insurance agent. I was the first DEI manager of a top Fortune 500 company, right? So I'm used to being in these areas. But what I realize is being in those spaces, I was still not able to fulfill myself internally. And that matters to me most in order to be able to provide for my family. If I do not perform at my best, there are people that do not eat. Okay, so that responsibility is very heavy. On the top of this year, I invested into a company that was supposed to help my family situation. And I paid for all of us to get our credit fixed and to get funding in order to build real estate from the ground up, which is what I was
wait. Say that again. You got your whole family in this.
I got my entire family, guys, meaning I paid the tab for my entire family to be able to trust this company to not only fix their credit, get them access to capital so that we can be able to get property and build from the ground up. Unfortunately, this process was the most eye-opening thing for me. When you're not where you need to be, you cannot pull others along with you because you're still learning and growing in the process. That company ended up scamming my family out of not only our finances, but our situation, right? So in doing so, it made me go into my business full time. I got laid off from my Fortune 500 company. And in that time frame, I said, you know what? I'm very knowledgeable. I've been doing credit for about 4 years, 5 years on and off, right? Because I'm good at it. It was like, okay, I can do this. But I went full-fledged this year because I became passionate about helping others. No matter what business you want to do, no matter what you want to start, grow, or scale your business, you need access to capital. And that starts with your credit, okay? Your credit can unlock you keys to getting $250,000 from these banks legally, okay? So when you position yourself properly on your credit can unlock access to the banks, and they are obligated to give you at least access to $250,000 with no documentation. So that's what I do. My company is called Immigrants to Millionaires, and we assist people with credit, funding, and teach them how to turn that credit into cash flow.
And I just love that man. Did I tell you she had a story?
Man, she bad. So I'm an immigrant. Can I get some? Can you help me? I need to get some money. I'm an immigrant. I'm telling you.
I can help you. I'm not playing.
My people from Africa. They stole us and brought us over here. I didn't have to be here, and so so I'm just saying. Can I get in? Can I get in?
Yes, I'm your girl. Okay, myself and my partner, we're nothing to be played with. We're the team for you. We get.
And I think you're for anybody, right? It's not even about that, but I think like for anybody, I think the fact that you went through, somebody scammed you and your family out of a lot of money because you guys were going to invest, like you were trying to do the right things and you want to believe like, I'm trying to do the right things, right? I'm trying to get a better life for my family. Yeah. And they scammed you. But what I love about it is you turned it around and you're like, oh, I'm going to help other people get credit. I'm going to help them fix their credit so that they can be with somebody who they can trust to improve their business.
Absolutely. 90% of my clients that come to me, even to this day, have gotten scammed by 2 to 3 credit people in the industry. 90%. Wow. That is astronomical. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yep.
Is that not crazy?
Yeah.
That's good stuff.
Good stuff. So we're going to definitely put her information in here. We're going to talk a little bit about her goals for this year, but we want to make sure, can you just tell us clearly, what does your business do?
Credit, funding, and getting people to get credit and turn it into cash flow.
I love it. Turn it into cash flow. Okay. So if you need that, put funding in the chat. And so we're going to make sure that she gets back to you. Even if you hear this later on, the replay, put funding. We are going to make sure that Sunset connects with you so that you can get the funding you need for your business. And you'll be with somebody who you can trust. Okay. So put funding in the chat if you're interested in that. But tell us about your goals. What are your goals for this year? What are you seeing? What do you see guys do this year?
I am one of those people, I can't live without goals. If I don't set goals, I am under fulfilling, and that's an internal battle. So for us, our goals this year for Immigrants to Millionaires, which we just launched a mentorship as well, is to get at least 50 students inside of our mentorship where we teach them how to actually start their own credit and funding business. And of course, yes, we're trying to reach that 7-figure mark by this year. And I do believe that we're going to hit that this year.
Okay, so we got Rhonda in the chat funding. So Sunset, Rhonda got you. She like, hey, tell me, Aisha, what's up, girl? How you doing? Okay, so their goal is 50 people who would create their own funding business. So you're going to train them how to do it. So if you're looking for something to do, I heard it's a lot of people getting laid off right now. So, okay.
Mm-hmm. And this
Especially
is
if you got the kind of job, especially if you got the kind of job that Sunset Monae had.
She had a DEI job.
The DEI job. They say no. And her name Sunset. If her name was Susan, we may have would have considered keeping her.
actually a Susan came after me, but hey.
You see that?
Okay. So what we tell, hey, she has something for everybody here. If you are looking for a job, and it don't have to be that you're laid off. You may just want to make some extra money. Like Absolutely. You're like, hey, I want to make some extra money on the side. I want to keep my job, but I want to make some extra money because I believe in the side hustle, maybe in multiple streams of income. Let's go. So she got the business for you.
Off one client or more, you can make upwards of $25,000. You do the math. One client.
One client, you can make $25,000. Okay, baby, maybe I need to talk to you. Okay, so anyway, so that's her goal: 50 clients that would be able to open their own business, and then she is looking to be at 7 figures this year.
Yes.
What is the biggest problem that you're having right now in achieving that goal? Like, what is your biggest problem?
Getting in front of a bigger audience. That is the number one issue right now for us. Getting in front of a bigger audience. That's it.
Well, I got one question. I love your energy, Sunset, Susan Monae. And, I'm sorry, Susan is the girl came after you. My fault.
Don't do that.
Different kind of people. We love Susan, too. And
we love Susan, too.
We love Susan and Karen. We love them all. But here's our reality. Here's the reality. I got a question for you, Sunset. Are you ready for the sunrise?
Absolutely.
You ready for it? Are you ready to boss up?
Absolutely. Always.
You absolutely what? What are you ready to do?
I'm ready to boss up. I'm ready to hit that 1% and do what
1%. Time you ready to do what, girl?
Ready to boss up and do what 1%ers do. Okay.
All right. Well, listen. Let's do it. Let's do it. So here's the thing. One of the things, in order to be, you can't just. A lot of times, people get stuck on being a goal setter. But what I like about you is I can tell you're a goal getter.
Yes.
It's one thing to set the goal, but it's another thing to go get it.
Absolutely.
And so the question is, when you say I want to have, the key to getting the 7 figures is knowing what your 7-figure formula is.
Absolutely. It's the formula.
It's the formula. So that means what is the investment for each student to come into your mentorship program?
Okay. You're asking that as a question right now? Yes. We have 3 tiers, right? So we have group calls, just as the one that Amor was on, where we will give you a free consultation to give you a roadmap of what that would look like for free, completely free. And in that first package, we would do credit repair, basic credit repair, repossessions, charge off, late payments, get all of that done for you. And my team has a 95% show up rate in 30 days. Okay. Not seen on the market.
So wait, I just want to make certain we talk slow for the people that their internet is still on analog. So it go a little slower.
I got
First level.
So the first level is absolutely free. I got you. First level is absolutely free.
Absolutely free.
But what they're going to do is you're going to educate them and you're going to help them repair their credit themselves.
No. Okay. Yes, we can give you the tools, but here's the setup, right? 90% of people do not act on information that you give them for free. If they pay attention, right? So I get them in the room to educate them and give them as much ammo as possible to go do it on their own. That's not my offer. The free class is the offer, right? The stage 1 at the end of my presentation is the first offer. You can pay us to fix your credit for you if you don't want to go and do the work that we just listed out for you on this free masterclass.
So then what is that done for you offer?
The done for you offer for credit repair, that is $1,500. where we would do your late payments, charge-offs, collections, repossessions, bankruptcies, right? Evictions, all included in your credit repair. That's one. That's level one. Then there's a level two. I want done for you, but I want access to funding and I want access to you and your partner as a coach, right? That is level two, which is $2,500. We did a sale for, so that's still going on, $2,500. And you get us for 4 weeks where we assist you, and you have DIY. There's courses that will assist you that we have pre-recorded for you, and you get us one-on-one. Well, not technically one-on-one. We're getting a group coaching call where you get access to myself and my partner on those group coaching calls for 4 weeks. That's package two.
And then
get access to $50,000 as well in funding.
So you give them access to $50,000 in funding.
Yep. And as well as our bank list as well, our exclusive bank list, because we work with bank relationship managers as well internally. So the 1,500 or the 2,500. So on average, it's about $2,000 per person. Mm-hmm.
And what I'm doing is I'm taking your two levels, and I'm getting what the average is. Right now. When you do that, what's your other income line? What's your other line item?
Okay, then there's option three. And if you do option two, it comes with everything in one. So each time we move to a tier, it comes with everything in the previous tier. Option three is our 3-month mentorship. That goes for around $5,000. You will get us for 3 months, one-on-one with myself and my partner. And we will do those coachings with you. And we teach you not only how to fix your own credit, right? We can do it for you, but we're going to teach you how to now start and grow your business. If you want to do a credit business, if you want to do a funding business, we give you the tools and resources to do so inside of that mentorship.
And that's 3 months.
Yep, 3 months.
Are there any other line items where you generate income?
Okay, so it just depends. It just depends on the package, right? So if you want access to funding in any of these packages, we make 10% off whatever we get you approved for. So if we get you approved for $100,000, that ticket for us is $10,000.
Okay. So then if your goal is 50,
mm-hmm.
and the average person, if we did the median between the 1,500 and the 5,000,
mm-hmm.
that's going to take you somewhere, we could say around 37, maybe about 3,000, 3,500, right?
Yep.
So the question becomes, that math doesn't necessarily equate to getting us 50 of them don't equate to getting us to 7 figures.
That's correct, but you missed the most important key. Our main anchor is funding, because off one
you get 10% of whatever.
10% of everything, so that whatever tier you fall into, we're still offering this service outside of these 3 tiers. So if you just wanted funding from us, which we're still actively getting funding clients, we make 10% off whatever we get that client funding.
So your average funding is how much right now?
$250,000.
That's average.
Average, because the average person typically wants either more than that or 100K. And 100K, so I would say between 100,000 and 250,000 is where average the person would sit between those numbers.
So between 100,000, so basically on average about 175,000.
There you go. Yep, because we can get that from one bank.
So you can definitely do $1 million per if you get the 50.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so let's look at it. So if we get 50 at 3,250, which is what that average is,
mm-hmm.
that's going to give you approximately 162,500. However, what is your closing ratio? So for the average person that comes in, where they actually get, let's say, a business loan or whatever the case is, for, in this case, 175,000. If you had 50 people
mm-hmm.
that showed up, that actually bought level 2 or one of those 3 tiers, what's your percentage of those individuals actually getting funded?
So that's about a 20 to 30% rate because it goes back to credit. And remember, this is something that was just launched, right? Where we offering the mentorship because we're doing this service based outside of those 3 tiers. So if we include the service based with the 3 tiers, then those numbers grow, right? Because we didn't incorporate that in the 7 figures. That's where you'll probably scale faster. Those weren't incorporated.
Okay, so can I just pause us for a second? Because I want to hear from the people in the audience. All right. One, how many of y'all have a goal this year of $1 million? If you have a goal of $1 million, put me in the chat. Like, I want to see how many out there, like, y'all got big goals. Like, hey.
We're not talking, remember, we're not talking about wishes. We ain't talking about wishes upon a star.
I just want to know their goal. What's your goal? Is that your goal? Me. If you're like, hey, I'll take $500,000. Like, some of us, I'll take $500,000. What is your goal? What is your goal? And I think the big thing that you're saying before we break down the numbers is you really have to begin looking at the numbers when you say like, hey, this is how much money I want to make. And I think you said the same thing to Jasmine when she was here, is that we can have this goal of $1 million, but we really have to be like, okay, is what I'm doing, how am I going to get there? And is it 50 or should it be 75 people or whatever? Like, do I need to change that number? But I know that your biggest problem that you were like, hey, how do I get 50? Hey, Shannon, what's up? Tiffany, what's y'all goals? Put y'all goals in the chat.
So when we look at it, because what we're going to do before we get off this call, we're going to do 2 things. You're going to know what your 7-figure number is. You're going to know exactly how many people you need to get at what rate, based on what you're telling me, in order to hit that number. And then the next thing is, because we know exactly how many, we're going to quantify how many people you got to talk to in order to hit that number. Does that make sense? I'm coaching my own staff tomorrow in our staff meeting, some of the salespeople. And one of the things I'm telling them is that each one of you have a par. And if the 3 of you hit your par, then this is what that number looks like. And then if we want to hit our net number, this is what that number looks like. But now that we have the number, how are we going to reach that number? How many people do we have to talk to? So as I'm navigating, as I'm hearing what you're saying, I'm listening to you. We say, hey, we're going to start off with 50. Now, I also heard you say between 20 and 30% of based on credit. So what I'm going to do, anybody that comes in just for funding, I'm not counting them right now.
Okay.
Why am I not counting them? Because it's the variable is broad. However, you said that if you guys are helping them fix their credit, then that will ultimately be able to increase your percentage. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be conservative in this process. I'm going to say 25%, but since you're helping them reach that, fix their credit, it should be higher, right? So let's check this out. So if I got 50 people, and 50 people, out of that 50 people, 25%, which is now 12 and a half. So let's say 13. Well, I like being conservative. Let's say 12 people actually get qualified for the loan at $175,000. Let's see if the math works.
Okay.
So now that's $17,500 that's coming to you because you said 10% across the board. Let's look at this. 17,500 times 12. It only equals 210,000 plus the 162,000 based on where they came in at, which was all 50. That means you only made 372,000. So you're literally almost $700,000 short from your goal. So now we're going to reestablish what our goals are.
Okay.
Because that goal, Miss Sunset, ready for the sunrise,
Yes.
so that the sun can shine. That goal on them big old cheeks with the 4 dimples, that goal,
Did you stop it?
that goal is not big, it's too low.
I think I set it up wrong. So when I said 50, mentorships are every 3 months, which we're still not hitting it, right? It's every 3 months. So it's 50 every 3 months.
50 every 3 months.
Yes.
So I'm good with that. So you just multiply the number times 4.
Yes.
So that's 162.5. And we're gonna multiply that times 4. We're gonna see where that get us. So that get us at 650. That's a little bit better now, right? Mm-hmm. And then if every 3 people or every 50, you got 12 that says yes. So that means 50 times 4, that's 200 is the real number. Mm-hmm. And the way so your real number is 200 mentorship clients. 200. That's the number. It's not 50, it's 200. Now watch this. If you do that now you multiply 210, because that's what every 50 that you get, 12 of them going to qualify for at least 175. And so you do that 4 times 4, that equals 840,000 plus the 650,000. Now we got our number.
Man, we there. Okay, we there.
5 million. So we need 200 people.
200 people.
Okay, so we need 200 people out there. Before we get to some solutions, my people that's on, give us some thoughts. How can she get to 200 people? So I know she's on social media. She's doing these webinars. We need some people in the room to help us think through, like, how can she get to 200 people? She needs 50 each 3 months, right? Every 3 months she needs 50. All right.
At least.
All right. At least. All right. What are y'all ideas? I see Aisha, she already does first goal should be 30,000 a month. Rhonda Denise, her goal this year is to do 50,000 net. Okay, I see you, girl. So, hey, Sharita, how are you? What's up? All right, so what do y'all think? Before Dan drop a little knowledge on us? Like, what do you think? Hey, Carla, how can she get to 200? See, I would just like to say, Dan, before you say it, I'm better at, when I do goals like that, I need to break it down into the quarters to be like, okay, so what do I need to do this quarter to be able to get my first group of people? Same. Because sometimes if I'm like, well, I got to get to 200, that can feel a little like, okay, I'm going to get to 200. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to get my first 50.
Yeah, sure. So you got to break it apart.
I got to break that apart. Okay. So what does she need to do, Dan? How's she going to get to the 200?
Well, everything's about math. It's all about the numbers.
Okay.
Everything in sales is the numbers game. Yeah. So, for example, your funnel is at present is your webinar. Mm-hmm. And so you just did a webinar. How many impressions did you make in order to get, how many people registered for the webinar?
89.
So let's say 90 people actually registered for the webinar. How many people did you have to touch in order to get 90 to say yes?
I don't know how many people I touched, Dan. I just kept posting.
Putting it out there. Wait, Rhonda had an idea. Let me just say Rhonda's idea before you say, which I think this is amazing because part of this is about trusting the person. So Rhonda's idea was testimonials, like pinpoint specific people who you've helped with their credit, and then have them post their journey about what's been happening, because it's such a high scam business. And if I know for me, I see credit things come across my thing all the time. But if you could have some testimonials and stuff like that, and people, because you've already helped people last year and all of that in the work, like, so who do you have who can begin sharing their testimony? because we love a good
They have already. I've used them. I have testimonials, and that's actually what I post about as well. Consistently on my stories as well, engaging. That's where I get the most engagement. So I do post with
testimonies.
Testimonials and numbers. I'm a numbers girl.
Rhonda had a great idea. Okay.
Yep, testimonials and numbers, because it's a numbers game, right? You got to be able to show data points. You got to be able to show results and show what you're actively doing. And so that's what I do.
And so you said a couple of things, Sunset. You said testimonials, you said numbers, you said data. Because the data, the dollars is in the data. Data drives dollars. Mm-hmm. And so I know you said you just kept posting, you kept posting, you kept posting. So here's something that I say all the time. Number one is that strategy without execution is useless. Execution without strategy is aimless. Mm. And so what we need to do is we need to be specific in how we're posting and understanding the target market that we're posting to, right? To see how many impressions. So we got to be able to do what's called a TRE equation, total results equation. So how many posts to how many people got to see your post that's going to respond? How many posts do you have to make that's going to respond, right? And then now once we know that number, we know how to go, how many people we have to go after. Then you get to 90. So now you're at this 90, but 90 people didn't show up. Mm-hmm. How many people? Because it's free. So when it's free, people will say, I'm going to do it, but they're not going to show up because there's no skin in the game.
There you go.
So how many people actually showed up in this go round?
Around 30.
30. Mm-hmm. So if we look at that so you had about a 35% conversion ratio.
Which was really good.
35%, not conversion, but show up rate.
Show up rate. Mm-hmm.
So if you got 35, how many people actually signed up for your program?
So around 3 for the last tier and around 2 for the middle tier.
When you say the last tier, that's the $5,000 tier. Mm-hmm. So, and you said 2 for the middle tier.
Mm-hmm. And we already had some of the ones on the call were already in the 1 tier, so I didn't count it because we made that prior to the call.
You had it. So how many total was that though? How many total?
Because they count the call. So that was about 4 more before the call. But those were the same people that showed up.
Yeah, I want to focus on that call. So that means 3750. Mm-hmm. If you said so, and your closing ratio was at about, if you had 5 to close out of 30, or then that means you had a little under 20% closing ratio.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
So now we know whether we're gonna bite this thing down in quarters or we know annually what we got to do. Yeah. Now, if we got a 20% closing ratio, how many people do we need to get into every webinar to hit our 50 goal for that quarter? Now that's the next question. If I only got a 20% closing ratio, then how many more people do I need to get in the room? And why am I going through this exercise? Because if you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there.
Yep.
How do you measure? How do you track if you don't know what those numbers are? Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
I think another thing that Rhonda shared that I think is a good idea too is not just you posting on your page the testimony, but like how can you get the people who you help to post on their pages?
That's a very touchy subject because I talk to the clients, right? You got to understand it's their financial situations. And oftentimes people are not as comfortable sharing where they're going, right? Specifically in this field, a lot of people shelter that from their families, friends, and outside. So that's not really something we've seen where people want to. Of course, it's open, right? And I do, in our company, we give incentives, right? Well, we will give you $100 if you decide that is something you want to do. So we incentivize our clients to do so.
Nice.
Yeah, we don't pressure them into that, because I, for one, understand, even with the crown that I carry, oftentimes numbers is not something I was always sharing with friends and family, because that puts more pressure on me to then expend myself to them.
Got it. Uh-oh. I don't know what's making that sound. Sorry. Okay.
So here's where we are. Getting back to finding out our bottom line number.
Mm-hmm.
You need at least 250 people.
Mm-hmm. We
In the room.
figured that we need to run ads in order to hit that number. That's roughly around it. Yeah.
Yeah. You got to have 250 people in order, with a 20% closing ratio, in order to hit your quarterly goal. So then the question to our point now is, okay, that's 1,000 people. I got to be able to at least get in the room. You see what I mean?
Yep.
So how many people do I got to reach in order to get in the room? And that's the next question. And so, like you said, we got to do a couple of things. Number one, we got to not only incentivize people to share the testimonial, but what is, like when I do events, I do an event in financial literacy. Mm-hmm. And I say, hey, we're guaranteeing everybody a raise. Mm-hmm. I guarantee it. You come to my financial literacy event, we call it Empower to Prosperity. We guarantee that 98% of the people in the room is going to leave with a raise without asking their boss permission. So we got to look at what that catch will be, right? And so when I think about this, I would say we got to touch. If you figure that if on average it's a 5 to 7% engagement ratio, mm-hmm. you need about 9,000 people to get to 250.
9,000 people in the room quarterly?
No. 9,000 people you got to touch to getting
that you're engaged. Reaching out to. They might not come, but just that, like, you're doing ads, you're doing all of that, and it reaches about 9,000 people.
That's doable. Okay.
Yeah, you can do that in ads. Like, definitely.
I was gonna say, I've reached about 50,000 people on one video before, so it's doable. I just have to.
But those 9,000 have to be engaged. Now, here's the next question. You reach 50,000 people in one video. What's your database? How many people in your database currently?
Roughly 10,500.
So let me tell you, this is what I tell people all the time. If you got 1,000 people in your database organically.
New. Yes. I do want to preface that and say new people. I have not nurtured or done anything with these leads.
That's why I'm asking the question. Because that's where you're going to start. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. If you got 1,000 people in your database, that especially if they're new, you want to know why new is better for you? Because anything is new that's new carries momentum. Anything that's new carries excitement. Anything that's new carries enthusiasm. Once your newbies become OGs, their click rate for them goes down.
All right.
But they made a decision to connect with you. And they've been excited about that decision. So before you go anywhere else, with 10,500 in your database, you should be able to gain 250 people to show up in a room from that one database. Mm-hmm. Are you seeing what I'm saying? So what we have to do is we got to focus in on that database before you spend a dime in ads. Focus in on the database. Let your marketing go to those people, which we're going to call a warm market or low-hanging fruit. And I know you understand those terms. That's what we want to focus on. Why? Because they're already familiar with who you are. Which means you don't have to create brand awareness. They're already aware. You get to miss some steps and go right to the gusto. Mm-hmm. Here's what I want you to start doing with them. Because you say you haven't done anything with them.
No. These were given from another community, so that's why it's a little convoluted.
Are they familiar with you though?
They are familiar with me because I'm part of that group, but this will be a new thing that I'm introducing to this crowd.
So the way I want you to introduce it is I want you to, and I'm no pun intended, it's the only thing I can think of right now, so y'all forgive me.
Boy.
This me. I'm going to say it because I say what I want to say when it comes to me. And you
just what are you about to say?
You got I'm trying to tell you. So before you go asking them for their goods, you got to develop some relationship with them. You got to send videos out to them on a weekly basis. Hey, this week, y'all, we're doing whatever you want to call it. You'll come up with something special and you give them that video. But the content is content that they can use. You do that for about a month or so. And you're just working them and what have you. And then here's what you do. You get them in a habit of saying yes to you. So you're going to come up with a build your credit, because you say you have 3 goals. Number 1, to build credit. Number 2, to get funding. And number 3, to get, develop cash flow. So build, get, cash flow. So BGC. We're going to come up with the BGC ebook. And this little book, if you don't already have something similar.
I have about 50 ebooks.
Perfect. We're going to do it.
Some I give out for free.
That's the widget. We call that a widget. Here's what you're going to do, though. If this is a new community, that means this community is not necessarily possibly familiar with it.
Correct.
So now this is going to be exclusive to this community, this database. And what you're going to do is get them to download it. When you get them to download it, what you're doing is creating a habit of them further engaging with you. And everybody that downloads that book goes into another database. You see what I'm saying? And then you begin from there to filter that database to the next one. And then here's the thing. You give them, you could say within that first run, you could say, hey, listen, we're doing a free webinar. Everyone that downloads this book, we're going to invite you to a free webinar. But now, guess what? You want to set up a VIP ticket.
I do.
See what I'm talking about? Now, how much is your VIP ticket?
$27.
And I was getting ready to say $27. My right hand to God, I was going to say $27. My right hand to God, I was about to say 27.
Wow. Yeah.
So now what we got to do, though, is work that database. And you flesh that database out. Any questions so far?
Excited. I am so excited. I am a student right now. No, I appreciate it. I didn't realize that I was going to be poured into, so it just feels amazing. Thank you.
No, you're good. So we got our numbers. We know what we need to do on a quarterly basis. We have our database. We know what we need to do there. And so now we got to see how do we get groups to come in.
There you go. How do I reach?
Yeah. Now instead of it just being one, how do I get groups to come in? So what we do is, well, we just missed Valentine's Day. What you can do is this: accelerate your retirement for couples only. So this webinar is for couples only, how to accelerate your retirement. That can be one. Let let's target organizations that already have a bunch of people, like churches, for example. Come up with a faith-based, faith-based in a marketplace. Build your credit, get funded, and finance your whatever. You will come up with something like that. You target senior leaders of churches. And you come in and you provide this service to their church for free. And you partner with people like Shada Amore and Dan D. Johnson.
I love this. Listen, I'm trying to hold it together, but Dan, I need you, okay? I am writing, my hands about to fall off, okay?
Let me tell you, because my closing ratio is a little higher, and you get me in a room, we'll close the room. So what you do is now you have tiers of education, not just for credit building, but for wealth building.
For wealth building, like there's this event that that they have actually here, and I was like, we can recreate this. It's like, well, Dan's not gonna like this, but
where's Dan? Where's Dan located?
He's in Chicago.
I'm where God lives. I'm where God lives.
He's living there, baby. Look at that weather. He is not near there. No.
Okay.
Listen. Let me tell y'all something. Everybody can be clear. Everything that happens in Chicago directly represents who God is. God is a God. He's an agricultural God. Okay. The economy of the kingdom is agricultural. And in order for agriculture to be able to facilitate its full maturation, it has to go through all 4 seasons.
Okay. We hear you, but
it sounds good. It sounds good. It sounds good. But he in Florida, that sounds good.
And visits everywhere else. He y'all in Florida, but he's
this like women in wealth networking event every month. You know how we had the real estate one that we went to. Mm-hmm. And I mean, it doesn't cost anything for that real estate event that we go to. Mm-hmm. I'm like, we could do that on wealth, on building wealth.
So how do we cultivate something like that? And where are these groups? I'm a homebody, I'll say that. So my biggest thing is finding.
Hey, I don't believe that she's a homebody. Do you believe she's a homebody?
I'm not joking, Amore. It may look like it. Personality is amazing. I know that about myself. When I go out there, I'm the life of the party, but I don't leave home a lot. I don't.
Sunset, you are a child after my own heart. I understand. You're an introvert in your natural personality, but you are extrovert in your purpose.
Oh my God.
That's who I am. You're actually shy. You're actually the type of person that don't really like the spotlight. But when the spotlight comes, you show up. And you're not showing up for vanity's sake. You're showing up for purpose sake. Because you're so passionate about the things that you're doing. And so the reality is, with all of the followers and all of the things that you have going on, if you properly position your proposition, you don't have to go out to find them, they're going to find you. Mm-hmm. If you do a survey to that 10,000 folk in the database and ask about, or if you just send something out that says, hey, our organization is coming to purpose and we're doing church and we're doing this wealth, what have you, on a Saturday, absolutely free. Book your church today.
Yeah, we're going to get it. We're going to get it. This is us. I'm so excited. I'm pumped up.
That mean is my. See, listen, I could do this all night. And so as long as you pull, I'll pour. And you keep pulling, so I'm going to keep pouring. And so she got to cut it off because you ain't paid us no money. You only get 30 minutes.
No. I need to sit down and have an actual meeting and map out the plan, because I really believe that, like, there are so many people who want and need what you have, who feel bad about where they are with their credit, who feel like they can't do the business that God has placed in them because they don't have the funding. And so you are an answer to their prayer.
Now I do got.
We're gonna spend our time. We're gonna have a formal meeting, and we're gonna map this out because we're gonna walk in what God has called us to do, and we about to do this. So that I'm not trying to cut you off for that. I'm just like we need to do that.
I'm telling you, cut me off because
and Rhonda said a lot of the sororities and fraternities would be interested in something like that as well.
Absolutely, and this is why we got to work out our cut. And so hey, listen, you get a cut, I get a cut.
Girl, listen, I am with it. I'm a numbers
girl. I get a cut, and I don't get no cut. But let's talk about this cut for 1 second, though.
No, we're not talking about a cut. We have
no, Richard, hush. I'm talking. It's keep interrupting. I'm trying to get stuff out. I'm trying to get understanding. And I'm not talking about my cut.
Thank you. Praise the Lord.
Because I'm getting my cut. But what I'm talking about is this. If you got $250,000 loan and you get 10 points off the top, how many more points have to be paid on that loan?
What do you mean by how many more points?
I mean, what is the percentage?
So typically, and that's the great thing about that, right? When we do 0% APR funding, that means you don't pay no interest on that funding for 12 months. So it's not just loans, it's lines of credit and credit cards that give you 0% interest for 12 plus months, sometimes even up to 24. And on the business side, you only pay 1% of that of what you use monthly.
Got it. So that's for I didn't hear the 0% APR. So that's what made me ask that question, because of course, if we give you 10%, let's say a client give you 10%, and even with your 1% monthly on usage, that 1% monthly, if they go to 12 months, that's another 12%. So at the end of the day, they're at 22%. And so you see what I'm saying? So we got to make sure we use proper education.
Correct. And before you continue, I want to add to that for those that don't know what offers are out there, right? So we're very strategic in how we do this. So for example, with Chase, if you use around 5,000, they give you 3,000 back. So on those two separate cards where you're paying me that 10, you actually get 3 on each card back as if you never gave it to me. So there are caveats to a lot of this stuff, right? Yeah. You just have to be strategic.
Listen, girl. Listen.
All right.
Yeah, we got to go. We got to go.
This has been amazing.
Oh, it's great.
We're going to come back on, though, after Sunset, reaches these things. We create these events and share a testimony of where it's going. We are doing this. Oh, it has been great hanging out with you. So much.
Thank you, girl. Pleasure, Dan. Thank you, Amor. Thank you. Thank you guys so much.
I just got one question.
Yes.
Have you been bossed up?
Absolutely.
Boss up.
Thank you, team. Yes.
All right. So we want to invite anyone who is listening, thinking about going in business. We want to bring you on too. I got a whole lineup for the next couple of months, but we can squeeze you in because we want to make sure this is our ministry to help people think through the numbers and how to boss up and just how we can help each other and support each other, because it really is about us supporting each other to reach the dreams that God has given us. So there will be a link underneath for you to sign up if you are interested in being bossed up. And we promise, we'll be nice. Sometimes we got to get on Dan a little bit, but
No, I love that. I love that.
See, Sunset, that's my girl. So, see, I like Sunset. I can rock with you. Yeah.
All right. I want to thank you all for coming. Dan, do you have any final words before we close out?
Hey, listen, if you want, for real, if you want your business to get bossed up, reach out to myself or Shada Amor If you want private coaching and consulting, by all means, you can visit dandjohnson.com. That's www.dandjohnson.com. And you can set up some time and we can connect and help you boss up. Let's go, baby. Boss up. Boss up.
And that wraps up another empowering episode of Boss Up. Join Dan D. Johnson and Shada Moore on the next episode of Boss Up. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel and follow Dan and Shada on all social media platforms for more insights and inspiration to boss up your life. Until next time, remember to keep shining, keep grinding, and always boss up.